Ross Bolen Podcast.
You better listen.
Gang, gang, gang. Brought to you by Bolen Media. RBP, 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 Ross Bolen.
Welcome back for episode 239 of the Ross Bolen Podcast, otherwise known as RBP 239, presented by Bolen Media. I am your host, Ross Bolen, here today for a very special episode that we've been working toward for like 2 years to make happen, so I am very pumped. Buckle up. We're doing it. If you're new to the Ross Bolen Podcast, almost every episode of our show is broken down into segments, which you can find below with time cues in the description. Now, the idea is that you can consume the show at your own pace, and that's much easier when it's segmented with the timestamps and the different conversation points and topics and animals and pirates and serial killers and mental health stuff and sports news and all the current events we cover. You can kind of bounce around as you see fit. Now, there are episodes where that are an exception to the rule, because we have a special guest or a special topic. Today's episode is going to be one of those. It's not so segmented. I'm going to try to block Lance and I's conversation off with timestamps below for y'all based on what we talk about, based on the different subject matter. But our guest today, it will be a fluid interview-style episode of this podcast, so less segmented than usual. But hopefully this explanation has provided you with an understanding of how this show works. Follow us on Instagram at the Ross Bolen Podcast, where every day we fill up our story with photos and videos sent in by our listenership, lovingly known as the RBP Gang. We are also on Twitter at Ross Bolen Pod. You can find us on Facebook if you're the middle-aged aunt of one of our listeners. And you don't have to have listened, just for the record, to a single one of the preceding 238 episodes of this show that exist in order to like and have fun with RBP 239. But if you enjoy today's show and our special guest and the conversation that takes place, which I believe you will, then you should go back and get caught up on the enormous backlog of episodes that we have for you. 238 episodes of RBP that you can go back and listen to whenever you've got the time. So get it done. RBP 239 is brought to you by Stance. Have you noticed everybody talking about, or you're seeing or hearing a bunch about socks and ads for socks? Like just a few years ago, nobody ever talked about socks. So why so much noise about something that we never used to care about? The answer is that one brand, Stance, absolutely changed the game when it comes to socks. With their creativity, their design, the quality, it's all so incredible and next level that it ignited a movement around a piece of apparel no one had ever paid attention to before. And all that attention brought out a bunch of wannabe brands that began saturating our lives with sock ads and shit. Stance was the main driving force behind me naming 2019 the year of the sock on this very podcast, and now they are an official sponsor of the show, which is incredible. And no longer do any of you have an excuse for having trash socks. I'm wearing Stance every freaking day. I'm wearing Stance on my feet right now. I've got some of their Star Wars socks on right now. Stance is the best. Pay no attention to pretenders. The only brand you need to care about is the one that actually started it all, Stance. If you're one of the millions of people who've fallen in love with Stance, you already know why. And if you've never worn any before, your feet are not going to be the same. They have incredible designs. They're incredibly comfortable. The durability is next level. It's unmatched. They're casual, everyday styles like no-shows and crews. They've got performance athletic product. There is nothing like Stance. They've got collabs with some of the coolest brands: Pulp Fiction, Kid Cudi, Toy Story, Rick and Morty, Basquiat, Caddyshack, Wu-Tang, Star Wars, like I've got on my feet today. I have a bunch of their Grateful Dead socks. They have badass Grateful Dead themed socks. I'm not even a Grateful Dead fan, and I bought 3 pairs of the Grateful Dead collab. Stranger Things. I will really never put anything else on my feet ever again, and there's a reason Stance changed the sock game forever. I want you to try them for yourself, and that's why my listeners can get a free pair of Stance socks with purchase at stance.com/Ross. That's STANCE.com/Ross. Because if they're not Stance, they're just socks. couple of announcements really quickly. On patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast in November, first and foremost, if you've ever said to yourself, I need more RBP, there's only 2 or 3 episodes a week, my God, where do I get more? Or if you've ever said, I wish I could watch this episode on video, guess what? There's a place. Patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast. In fact, full video of the episode you are listening to right now will be available later this evening, maybe tomorrow, depends on how long it takes to render. Video's a crazy thing. We've got full video of episodes 229, 230, 231, 235, 236, 237, all available right now for your viewing pleasure at patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast when you pledge just $5 for the month of November to join the RBP gang officially, support the show, get 2 additional ad-free and exclusive editions of this podcast right there on Patreon each month, plus the video episodes. I don't know what else I need to say. Our guest this month, by the way, we do a special guest every month on Patreon. We have a very special guest in the studio today for this episode. Our guest on Patreon this month is going to be Mr. Mike Burns, an incredible comedian and comedy writer and social media personality who I have followed for, probably 6 or 7 years now that I've been familiar with Mike and his work. I'm looking forward to having that conversation with him, which will be available on patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast in the days to come. That is it. As far as the announcements go, we have one amend. The population of China is 1.386 billion. Now it's time to jump into our first and only segment for today with Houston Astros All-Star pitcher Lance McCullers Jr. Lance is joining us in the studio. He's about to walk in. Houston, stand up. Let's fucking go. Okay, first off, what's up, Lance? How are you?
I'm good. In Austin, Texas. Probably on the coldest day of the year so far.
Yeah, this took us a couple of years to finally get this to come together, but we're recording a podcast together.
Well, we did a over the phone one after
Yes.
we played some video games together.
Yes, sir.
Yep, that was at the height of the Fortnite craze.
But now
And,
we're in person.
Now we're here in person.
We're no longer just internet friends.
It's true. Now
Now you know
I
me
know
in
what you
real
look
life.
like.
Yeah, now you know exactly what I look like. Y'all have a wedding this weekend in
We do.
Austin? That's
yeah,
what you're doing?
Brett Phillips is getting married tomorrow
Outside of Austin in Dripping
in
Springs
Dripping
or something?
Springs. Yep.
That'll be fun. I'm sorry we couldn't provide y'all with better weather, obviously. Not great wedding weather.
I think it's gonna be good tomorrow.
I hope it's
gonna be a
indoors.
little bit. I think it's gonna be sunny, with a little nice little chill.
Okay, we'll see.
That's hopeful.
Let's start talking about some of the stuff you've had going on, shall we? First
do
of
it.
all, you went to UFC last weekend.
I did go to UFC in New York.
You
Yep,
and Carlos
UFC
went.
244. Carlos and I went. Yep.
Took your ladies with you.
Yep. They went to see Hamilton. We went to the UFC fight.
Also, they saw Hamilton.
They
You
did.
should get her on the mic. No, okay, but I'm just curious.
She does a
Hamilton.
soundtrack now.
Nice. Okay, the UFC experience, was that your first UFC fight like
It
that?
was my second in
Okay.
person, and my first one was actually at MSG as well at 205 when McGregor beat Alvarez.
Oh shit, that was a
And
fun
that
one.
was when Khabib fought, I think, Michael Johnson, if I'm not mistaken. That was when Tyron Woodley fought Wonder Boy. That was that card.
Ooh.
So that was a sick card. It was my first ever card in person. We had really good seats that day. But Carlos brought me along for the ultimate experience. We sat 2 rows from cage side, got to meet all our favorite fighters.
Man, I saw pictures of you with The Rock.
Yeah, we got to meet The Rock as he was there presenting the BMF belt, that motherfucker
Right.
belt.
Did y'all get to talk to him? I mean,
Yeah, dude, we
like
talked to him for 15, 20 minutes and got to the point where I kind of started feeling like, man, I feel like we're infringing on his time, but he didn't seem that way. He seemed like he was totally cool with talking to us for however long we're going to be there. But
That's like my whole job you just described, by the way.
Yeah.
Like that's every day of my life.
Yeah.
That's happening right now.
Yeah. No,
So I know how you feel.
we have a hard deadline now.
Yeah.
He
do, though.
was awesome though. We got to meet Tyron Woodley, Usman, Adesanya, the Diaz brothers. So it was a Dana White. It was amazing. It was amazing.
But but The Rock in person, is it like? Because he's got to be one of the more. I don't even know how to put.
I was nervous going
He's
to
one
see
of the
him.
biggest personalities that maybe
Ever.
has ever existed ever.
Well, definitely right now for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
we were walking, so we had to go from our seats in between fights. They're like, "Hey, you're gonna miss the Wonder Boy fight," and we're like, "No, it's cool, no problem." I love Wonder Boy, but I'm gonna have a chance to meet The Rock, so
Dude.
we got to go meet him.
Priorities, dude.
So we leave our seats. We go back through the whole suite that everyone that was there that Carlos had us set up with was all in the suite. We went like down an elevator, like through these tunnels. Apparently there's like a theater inside of Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
There's like where they have like concerts and stuff before. I had no idea that even existed.
Didn't know that either.
We like walked by a bunch of Secret Service people because Trump was there, and we were like walking through this little tunnel, like little like hallway with like single lights, and then someone was like, "All right, DJ, they're here."
It's like a military bunker down there where they keep the rock.
It seemed like that, yeah. So then we turned the corner, and there he was. I mean, bigger than you could imagine. In our picture that I posted, it doesn't do him justice to how big he is.
Right.
He's a solid, like, I would say at least 6'5", 6'6". Like,
but he's just a massive
280,
human.
300 pounds.
Yeah.
It's like solid muscle.
Yeah, I always want to go back and like watch the Rock clips from when he was lighting people up at the U or wherever he played football. I think it was the U.
Yeah, we talked about it. He told me he lived in Tampa. So I'm from Tampa, Florida originally.
Yeah.
So his dad was a wrestler.
Right.
Rock's dad was a
Right,
wrestler.
right.
And, you know, around Tampa, we have some friends that are big into wrestling down in Florida. And they have like a big circuit that runs down through there. So he lived in Tampa for a while.
No
and he was like,
shit.
"Where'd you live in Tampa?" And I was like, "Oh, like up, you know, near like the Carewood area." He knew exactly what I was talking about. It was cool.
You're talking to the Rock about like normal life stuff.
Normal life stuff, yeah.
That's a weird experience that a lot of people don't get to have. Let's talk baseball,
All right.
shall we? This season obviously did not end the way that the Astros or the fans would have liked with another ring.
Right.
It was still an incredible season, an incredible experience. I got to go to Game 7. It was the coolest sporting event I've ever been at live, even with the loss.
Yeah.
It was still the most electric atmosphere that I've ever been a part of. But what is that experience like as a player, as a professional athlete, to come so close? And for you, I know it was a weird season, a different type of deal where you're recovering from an injury, going through rehab, but still the feeling is the same. You're part of the team. These are your boys. You obviously want the ring at the end of it all. And to fall short of your goal as a team, how do you handle that?
I think you just do. You know what I mean? Like,
just
I don't
keep going?
You just keep going. I mean, you know, our first taste of like real success was my first year. So my first year in the big leagues, 2015. You know, we went to the playoffs, and 0 people expected us to go to the playoffs.
Right.
I mean, maybe a handful. I think, you know, during spring training, Jeff and AJ always addressed the group, and they were like, "We legitimately think that we have the pieces here and the pieces in the minors to come up throughout the year." Speaking about like me and Carlos and Vince Velasquez, some of the guys who kind of filtered through that year,
Right.
to help us get to the postseason. Everyone was kind of sitting like, yeah, okay. I mean, we lost 100 games maybe like 2 seasons ago, so maybe we're a little ambitious in the whole playoffs thing right now.
Yeah, I was still
But
in a
they
very
weren't.
dark place in 2015
Yeah.
as a fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
but
And in life, probably, yeah.
but you know, we got there, and that was super weird because it was kind of like a feeling of happy to be here type thing.
Right.
And just getting there was like more than we could have really expected. And then in 16, we didn't make the playoffs.
Right.
I mean, you know,
Right.
we didn't make it at all. We missed it by like a game. And then in 17, we win. So it was this like roller coaster of like not anyone expecting us to do anything. We're supposed to do something. And 16 fell completely flat. Win the World Series kind of out of nowhere, and then in 18 go back to the ALCS, lose. But
Right.
then you get back to the World Series. This was like supposed to be like our year, right? We're
Right,
supposed to win the
right.
World Series. Everything was lined up perfect. I felt like, you know, all the guys were kind of rolling into this postseason relatively healthy, which is hard to do. And we just fell short, man. It happens. We got gut punched down to go down 0-2 at home. We didn't give up though. 1-3 in Washington, and then they just beat us, man. Strasburg pitched one hell of a game in Game 6, and then Scherzer battled through 5. Corbin came in, did his thing, and they just pieced it together, man.
I loved Bregman's post-game interview because he related it to, like, this is why baseball is the greatest game on earth. It teaches you about life and how to lose. And I mean, in life, sometimes you're going to feel like you're set up as best as you possibly could be, and shit's still going to hit the fan, and that's just the way it goes. The difficult thing for me, and it's part of what I've thought a lot about over the past, 4, 5, 6 years, as Houston has developed into this, like, sports hot
Mecca.
hub. Like, we're killing it. Everything is clicking. Like, we got Deshaun Watson on the Texans at the very least. That's fun to root for. The Rockets are awesome. They have superstars all over the place. You guys have been killing it for years now. But as a fan, it's a difficult thing to try to grapple with, too, because you're like, I love the team. I love everybody on it. but we didn't win. Like, is it a failure? And to me, what I've come to terms with is like, it's not. That's not how it works.
Right.
It's also about the ride and the experience of the whole season. And like, you've got to be able to pull from it as a fan, just like y'all do on the roster, to learn from it and then see, okay, like, what does this mean for me next season? You know what I mean? Or like my expectations.
Well, things just turn over so quick. I mean, in a couple weeks here, guys will start working out again, and guys will start their preparations for the next season.
It blows my mind.
Win or lose. I mean, even in 17, after the World Series, you have a couple weeks where you're kind of living in the glory of winning, and doing this talk show or that talk show, or kind of traveling here and there, and then it's like you got to get back to normal because we're expected to be a good team and to compete again. So
you got to go do it all over again.
That's right. I mean, so I definitely don't think our season was a failure. I think that people that are saying that, maybe a little bit too spoiled right now at the moment.
Let me just say, anyone who is saying that just flat out does not get it.
Yeah.
That's just not true.
We definitely didn't accomplish our ultimate goal. That's 100% obvious. But to say the season was a failure, new team record and wins, one of the best offenses and defenses in baseball, one of the best pitching staffs. I mean, we just came up a little short, and then you turn the page and you try to learn from it and try to go win next year.
Well, as a guy that gets to watch y'all play all the time, that has been an Astros fan his whole life, that grew up in Houston, I just so, not just you, I feel like but everybody on the team should know, like, y'all made the whole city so proud, and it was so much fun to watch everybody play. And this is not just this most recent season, for years now, and it's been a pleasure. So I hope nobody has gone into the offseason with like their head down too low or nothing.
I don't think
like
so.
That, man.
The city of Houston's really embraced us as a team. I think they've, like you said, embraced like all of sports. To see like the support that we've gotten just on even like during the regular season, just like on a daily basis, has been really cool. So I don't think anyone's going down with going into the offseason with their head down. I definitely think a little bit disappointed, and then wanted to give the city and the fans that moment again.
Sure.
But we'll work for it again.
Yeah. No, and I mean, I think that's the other good part of it for me personally is like, I know y'all aren't done. So it wasn't like, this is the end. It was more like,
there are some teams built that way. There are some teams built
where you get one shot.
Like, hey, after this season, like the entire team will get dismantled, and you're like,
whoops,
back at stage one. And then those times maybe the disappointment it lasts a little bit longer. Yeah, but I think for us, we'll roll that calendar over. The Rockets are going to do their thing. Texans are playing really well, so.
And we're in a good spot as a city.
And we're in a good spot as a city and an organization.
It feels good. I got a haircut before coming in today. Looks
great.
Because by comparison, well, first of all, you wore a hat, which is
I did.
It's a fly hat, but I'm disappointed because by comparison, I would have looked like a homeless vagrant. Your hair stays pristine.
I got to shape up yesterday. I got the beard shaped up.
How often do you get this shit chopped?
During the season, when I'm actually pitching, probably once or max 2 starts. So every give or take 5 to 7 days.
Okay, that's actually pretty frequent.
Yeah, during the off season, like now, I try to push that like 12 to 14 day mark, but it starts getting a little ratchet.
Okay, I went like 4 months, and I was like, Lance is coming in. I can't. He's got fly hair. I can't fucking.
I haven't cut like the top, like the back. It's like the top of my hair. It's like just pushed back in my hat for a long time.
Yeah.
Like the beard and the shape up's got to happen pretty frequently.
Let's talk about the rehab that you went through. You had Tommy John surgery on your right elbow last November. Just November? Okay. Yeah. You spent all of 2019 in rehab, which you literally completed 2 days ago?
Yep, 2 days ago.
First of all, what's the finish line there? How do you know it's over? I'm done.
Well, it's over because I get to go home and not have to go to the field anymore and keep rehabbing.
Yeah, but who tells you that? Like, who makes that decision?
The team. Well, it's everyone. It's my surgeon and the team and myself and how I'm feeling because, typically if I would have had surgery in like a July,
sure.
I would still be in for like another month of rehab technically, but that month, 4 to 5 weeks would be just pitching in games.
Okay.
And getting ready to come back to pitch in the big league games. It would be like rehab games. We're going to use that time as spring training. There's no reason for first of all, there's really no games right now,
right?
Unless I'm going to go play winter ball somewhere. And we felt like that my body is in a spot where spring training will be plenty for me to get ready for the 2020 season. And then also I get to have a little bit of an off season because typically when guys have this surgery, you rehab for 12, 13 months. you go to your rehab games, you roll right into the season, you keep pitching. So
Jesus.
I have a unique opportunity to still get a little bit of downtime.
Well, that's
so
kind
I
of
can
nice.
bounce back and then, put in a full year.
Right. What did it look like, okay, during the process of this year when you're going and doing the actual, is that like physical therapy every day?
Every day.
For real?
Every day. So I had surgery on November 6th of
Right.
2018, and I had to stay there for just 2 days. Flew back to Houston, was in Houston one day, and then the next day I was at rehab. So 4 days after surgery, I started my rehab. My rehab was literally, my first couple days of rehab was just trying to touch my fingers to each other like this.
Right. So that's
And
what
I couldn't even do it.
I don't think people realize the intensity
Yeah.
of that type of rehab and how slow the build is. So like you've been putting up these incredible videos of you getting your pitches back, right?
Right. Yeah.
You put up the one yesterday of like hitting all three, and I almost achieved erection watching the video. Like that's always been such a like it's a fascinating thing to me. You get hurt, you have the surgery, and then nobody gives a fuck fan wise until
Right.
you're back.
Yeah,
right.
I felt-
Nobody's asking like,
yeah.
how's that? Of course, I ask because I care and I'm
Yeah.
great. But most people are not like, Lance, how
No,
you
you
doing?
asked
And,
because you know I was coming here in November.
yeah, that's the only reason. But no, it's like it's not a thing that people keep in mind. The consideration, how much work you have to put in, and
Yeah.
how much it is unenjoyable.
No,
that is
for
not
sure.
fun work.
Yeah. No, it's not. I mean, I had stretches, I had days where, I'm not going to say like give up, but you definitely go through these flows where you are, maybe a little depressed. You feel like a little bit of an outsider. You feel, like kind of walking this journey alone.
Right.
And it's hard to show up to the ballpark some days. It's hard to show up and get your work in.
And the whole team's out there doing their
Yeah,
thing.
so
and, like,
then you're there from 1 o'clock in the afternoons. You have to get there the earliest to make sure you get your rehab done, and then you're rehabbing from 1 to 5 or so, and then you have to watch the game from 7 to 11. So I mean,
That's a lot.
They're long days, and some are long, hard, depressed days. But all in all, I had a great support system. I mean, my wife's here in the corner, I had people holding me up and pulling me up and checking on me and making sure that everything was going well. So that support went a long way.
and the team was doing well, which had to have helped a little bit. I mean, it would have been. I feel like it's more. Well, I don't know. Is it worse when the team's having
No,
success and you
I
can't
don't
be a
think
part
so.
of it?
No, because the atmosphere is still lively. You know what I mean? Like you
energy is
get to go
there.
to work every day, and people are still happy.
Right.
If your team sucks and you're going through this, and everyone's just miserable,
clubhouse is
it's like
depressing,
double.
too.
It's just like piling over it.
Yeah.
But
Working to get back to this bunch of losers.
yeah. Right. So it keeps you motivated, man. Like you see guys go out there and be successful, and you're like, man, I want to feel that again. I want to be a part of that. So it keeps you going for sure.
At what point during the playoff run this season, because it might have been earlier, but I noticed during the playoff run that you decided, like, well, fuck it. If I can't play, I'm going to do what I can to make this as exciting for the fans as possible. And you were going above and beyond, out of your way to hook people up with the dude that got pegged in the back in the urinal at the Yankee Stadium, hooked him up with tickets. The kid who got memed to death because he was the Surrender Cobra on TV, and then they kept going back to that same kid over and over, which, like, hilariously on Twitter, like, I think his brother listens to my show, and, like, I was tweeting about that kid, so then he started tweeting at his brother, like,
Yeah,
oh my God.
he was going viral.
And then by the end of the day, that kid was fucking everywhere. Anyway, what made you decide, like, I'm going to try to do some stuff for the fans and make this fun for them since I can't play?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like
Most dudes don't do that, though. You should be commended, for real.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like the dude in the urinal, or the guy that was walking up the stairs and was getting like beer poured on him and getting spit on. Like, they're just there trying to rep their team, you know what I mean? And then the other kid was in just like a sea of Yankees fans, and every time the camera cut to him, he was just like cheering his ass off for our team. So I'm like, these dudes are like Houston people too.
Yes.
So like, they flew up there.
Yes.
Not cheap. They got hotels. They bought tickets to the game, and like, their experience is being ruined. And like, when I've had experiences in New York, when I've pitched and I've had things said to me and beer thrown on me, like, I'm the player. So like, there should be more hatred toward me than there should be just, why are you hating on that guy for like where he was born,
It
or like the
makes no
team he
sense.
rolls for? So
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna reach out to these people, try to make it right. Get them to the World Series, and just show the fans that that we care and that I care.
Well, that was a wise move. You you're very good at showing appreciation back to the fans who are showing appreciation to you, which is it's an incredibly important part of sports, but it's also something that's like really tough to juggle. An example being like, obviously, in his post-game presser after Game 7 ended, Gerrit Cole went an awkward route. I'll just say that. An awkward route for the way that he handled the question, that wearing the Boris cap, doing everything that he did was awkward. It just made it was kind of a shocking move for fans that the game ended, we're all heartbroken still, and then you're like, oh man, what the fuck? But it's like you have to, I understand that that's a balance, right? Like as a professional athlete, you have to weigh maintaining your brand, you're standing with the fans, but at the same time, you're attempting to build like your personal value, and this is your career. And at the end of the day, it's your livelihood.
Yeah.
So at first, like, I'll give you just straight up, like, my honest truth was that I was obviously pissed off, like most of the fans were. People were upset. That was like, as an Astros fan, you're like, man, fuck Gerrit Cole. But then given a couple days to think about it, look, I get that it's not as simple as it seems for me.
Right.
So how do you balance that? Like, because you have to take care of you, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you're Lance McCullers Jr., you're a man, this is your life, you have a family, you're about to have your first child. Like, it's about you, but you're also part of a team. And you have to sort of like, I mean, how do you, that would be the most challenging thing for me, I think, if I was you.
I think it is hard for fans to understand. I think this is something fans went through last year with Dallas as well. I mean, there's no.
Oh, with Keuchel, yeah.
Dallas Keuchel, yeah. There was no.
I was like the city. What the?
No.
Yeah.
No. Keuchel.
Hey, fuck Dallas. No.
We as athletes, even if we only know one team, so like Dallas only knew one team. His whole 6-7 years here was the Astros. Did amazing things in an Astros uniform.
He was a legend, yeah.
Yeah, he is, and he didn't want to leave the Astros. There was no want in him leaving. It's just how it goes sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think fans have a hard time understanding or recognizing kind of the business side because they're not in it. And I get it because even me being in the business side, I still sometimes have a hard time recognizing that.
It's a tough thing, yeah.
As a fan who lives somewhere and goes so hard for their team, most of the time that's the only team you're going to know. That's the only people you're going to cheer for. It's more about the logo than it is the player sometimes.
Sure.
And so it's just a fine line that you have to walk as a player because, like, you want to represent the city, you want to represent the organization, but you can't get lost in the fact that, like, you also have to represent yourself.
Right.
Not saying that there are better ways to handle it than other ways, and there are some things that, happen that were a little disappointing. But, at the end of the day, I don't think anyone is really making decisions trying to, like, throw a big middle finger up to, like, the organization or the fans. It may happen in the moment because sometimes things are sticky and they happen quick.
Sure.
But it's a hard balance to walk. But at least while I'm still under contract for 2 more seasons, I'm gonna make sure I always try to represent Houston in the best way.
Well, you do a fantastic job. I felt like Gerrit got almost a bad rap at the end of it because I don't know the guy, but I do know just from the outside looking in, having thought about it as much as I have, that it is much more complicated than what it seemed.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, everybody wants to be upset. Sometimes you got to look at the bigger picture. And, I mean, like, he's a dude just trying to feed his fucking family like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? It's not – but that's what's so beautiful about sports is it combines and complicates all these different things into one, and it just is what it is. Okay, so this Astros team that we've got right now, the one that we've been rolling with the past few years, it's the most special combination of men I've seen on a playing field in any of my sports, right? In any of the sports that I follow. What is it to you that makes this group so tight-knit and special and successful?
Well, I think one of the biggest things is that a lot of these dudes that you guys are seeing on our team, not all of them now because we're a couple years removed from the 15 and the 17.
The rebuild, yeah.
But a lot of these dudes that are on this team still and they make up the core of this team spend a lot of time, eating Panda Express together, stopping at Buc-ee's in the middle of the night, riding these buses, taking these late-time flights if you're in AAA, and just really kind of grinding it out together. Eating at Denny's at 2, 3, IHOP, 4 in the morning when you get into new cities.
Y'all eating a lot of shit food, huh?
A lot of shit food, and that's just the reality of the minor leagues. I mean, it's not. There's no one anything can do. There's nothing anyone can do about it unless they're going to move leagues out of states. I mean, you get to Burlington, I believe Iowa, like ain't a whole lot there. You know, you get to Beloit, Wisconsin, or wherever we play, like you got you maybe have like an IHOP, a Denny's, and like a Chili's. I mean, this is what you got. And so when you have to spend that type of time together with these guys, when you got to sleep on the floor of the bus, and you know my leg is on your shoulder and your arm is on my face, and you start to develop these bonds, and then when you make it, essentially you make it to the big leagues together, there's like an extra little bond there that's not really going to be broken.
Right.
And so I think for a lot of us, you know, we have that bond, and even if we didn't play directly together, we all share the same experiences. We all play for the same teams, even if it was a couple years apart. We all went to the shitty cities. We all went. You know, we all had to play in Lancaster, and all had to, contemplate retirement at the age of 19 or 20 because how much we hated the California League, and you bond over these things, and then, you know, you just form these bonds, and they only get stronger over time, in the big leagues.
Is Altuve still the leader in the clubhouse?
Altuve's like this. He's just like the silent leader. You know,
because he's not the guy who's gonna get crazy and like start
sometimes.
Yelling. Okay.
Sometimes he'll put you in line if he has to.
No shit.
Yeah. Altuve will put you in line if he has to.
That makes me happy to know.
Yeah, but in like a great veteran type way, not in like a shitty veteran type way.
Yeah, no.
But you know, he's more of the person that really is like that living example of like, you know, he leads by example. Mm-hmm. What he does on the field, what he does off the field, how he is with his family, the way he prepares, the way he plays. I mean, you just want to emulate that dude. You just want to follow. I mean, like actions speak louder than words, and that's the dude that really just leads by that old saying, like, you know, you let your actions, you know, speak
Absolutely,
for you.
dude.
That's how Altuve is.
And he's the guy who's been there, like, I mean, shit.
The longest.
Yes.
No, the longest.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's been there since it was like the most miserable experience in the world.
Yeah.
To be starting on that team at second base after being doubted his entire life for his size or whatever, and it's just like his story's so crazy to me. So that he came out the other side of it like seemingly the nicest person ever. Like I don't think I've ever seen him on camera after a good game, after a bad game, say anything about nice stuff about everybody.
Oh yeah, I mean he's like I said, he's one of the greats in the game. I think that, you know, if he should be in my opinion, what he's been through and what he's overcome and how successful he's been, one of the faces of baseball. I think he is, but I think he should even be more like pushed in that direction. Sure. But I mean, like I said, man, he's not the type of guy that's like seeking that. He's not the type of person that is dying for that to happen to him.
Yeah, that's what I love about him.
He just wants to play ball. He wants to take care of his family. And a funny story about Altuve, I was in Lancaster in 2014. And there was still a couple players there that were with Altuve when he came through Lancaster, I think in 2012. Okay. I may be wrong, 2011, 2012.
Somewhere around there.
And, you know, no one really knew who he was. He'd been in the organization a couple of years. He was young. And he told one guy, and I'm not going to name any guys, but he said, Poppy.
Name names.
No. His name was Gio Mir. He played for us for a while in the organization. Great guy, great teammate. Cool. He was with Altuve in Lancaster, and he remembers Altuve turned to him at the beginning of the season. This is a kid in high A. So when you're in high A, you don't think you're going to get to the big leagues like that same season.
It's a pipe dream, yeah.
Yeah, you still got a couple, you know,
you're on the
couple
grind.
levels to jump.
Yeah.
And he said, Poppy, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to make it to the big leagues this year. I'm going to make it. And Gio was kind of like, yeah, okay, bro, like, yeah, like, yeah, okay, yeah. We're all going to make it to the big leagues. He's no, Poppy, I'm going to make it this year. I'm telling you. And then, sure enough, he said 3 weeks into the high A season, got promoted to Double A. A month into his Double A. I believe a month into his Double A or so, he got promoted to the big leagues, and so that's the kind of person that, you know, the self belief and the work ethic that Altuve has.
God, I've loved watching him play so much. Baseball players tend to be like a very different breed, and I can only say this because I consider myself to be one, even though I haven't played since high school. You do. Most good baseball players have a different type of personality than, I'll say, normal motherfuckers. Like, y'all are cut a different way. Some of you are psychos. A lot of you are like, who's the biggest stereotypical baseball psycho on the Astros? And if it's not Bregman, I'll be shocked.
Well, what's a stereotypical baseball psycho?
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know. We got
a lot of bad motherfuckers walking around the locker room.
I know, but like unhinged, like emotionally, and like, you know, baseball as a game, just the way it's structured, there's so much standing, waiting, harnessing, like, practicing, strategizing. It's just a different type of sport. Basketball's go, 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 go,
Yeah,
go, go. Baseball's like your mental setup has to be different. It just it lends itself toward what I call just more psycho type of motherfucker that plays.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, you know, the stereotypical baseball guy who literally, like, the game is life. Nothing else matters. Any mistake is like live and die by it type of thing. Yeah.
Okay, then you're talking about Bregman. Yeah, you're talking about
so.
Bregman. It's a good thing. It's a great thing.
Absolutely. No, it's not a bad thing. I'll give you an example. I had a dude, it was on my high school team. This is so stupid that I'm telling high school baseball stories talking to a professional baseball player, but I'm going to tell one anyway. I was running around the track. Our coach was making us run miles. It was like we had to do like 3 6-minute miles, something impossible, just to get us to puke everywhere. It was absolutely idiotic.
If you're a high school coach, don't make your kids run.
He was a Vietnam vet who literally like abused me out of the game. Like my junior year, I was like, fuck this, I'm gonna go smoke pot, I'm out.
Yeah.
What was my point? Oh, I was running around the track, and I had to stop to throw up, and as a result, like we weren't gonna make the time. The psycho baseball player on my team, the most psycho guy, fucking attacked me. He punched me in the back of the head. Was like, move, motherfucker. And I was like, bro, I'm puking. What the fuck? So there's always like, you know what I'm saying? There's that guy. And Bregman certainly seemed like he's wired that way. Watching his dad in the stands during that game was one of the most entertaining things I've ever done in my life. He was like right in front of you, Kara, or right behind you maybe. But he has this big-ass black cowboy hat on, and he's chewing on that cigar like the whole game.
Yeah.
And it just like, if nobody had ever told me who that was, I could have picked Bregman's dad out from the fucking nosebleeds. Like, it's just so funny to me.
Yeah.
He just seemed like the ultimate baseball
Good
person.
people, man. He's got a great family. Yeah, Bregman, man, he's just like that dude like can't be denied. But there's other dudes like that too that are just like silent.
Yeah.
Like Michael Brantley is that kind of guy. He's just silent.
That's what's
he just like won't be denied.
It's so weird though, because like, and that's where I jump back to Altuve for a second. With some of the greats, Michael Jordan, you know, Tom Brady. And that's what I mean. Like, you have to be cut from a different cloth. You have to have a different level of competitive drive. And then there's Jose Altuve. Like, he doesn't fit into, like, I'm fairly certain Jordan or Brady would murder me if it meant getting a dub.
Right.
Altuve's not going to hurt anybody. Like, he has achieved a level of, like, greatness without the fucking killer instinct that makes you into a dick almost, sort of.
Yeah.
That's what's always been fascinating to me about him. Okay, you were the number 41 overall
41st pick. Yep.
41st overall pick in the 2012 draft. Straight out of high school.
Straight out of high school.
High school in Tampa, you said?
Tampa, Florida. Yeah, Jesuit High School.
You've been a part of the club through the shittiest years in its history. You're now there for the best era in franchise history. Like, what's it like being drafted to that team? Well, first, just drafted, period, straight out of high school, but then also into a team that you know is sort of going to go through this whole rebuilding phase.
Yeah, well, we're not going to get into my draft story because we'd be here all night.
That's fine.
So,
yeah, you got a wedding to get to.
Yeah. Draft day for me. I mean, looking back on it, it was the greatest blessing that I could have asked for. But during that night, it was a tough night. But I got drafted by the Astros. And really, I guess thanks to Carlos, Carlos and me and Rio kind of all, that was like Rio Ruiz. He debuted with the Braves, now he's with the Orioles.
Oh yeah.
So Carlos obviously got drafted and he signed for under slot, and then because of that, they were able to. I fell in the draft, and then they snagged me. And going to a team like that, where where like the upper execs have been. So like, obviously Luno had been praised from coming from the Cardinals, and the Cardinals have been turning out these amazing teams, amazing prospects. That's key, because when you get drafted, you want to go to an organization that turns out good prospects.
Right.
You don't want to go to someone that's going to always rely on, being the free agent guys or being the big trade guys, because then you're going to get shuffled around a lot. You want to go to an organization that is known for turning out great prospects.
For building.
In 2012, the Astros, not known for turning out great prospects, but I knew that the people were in place to do so.
And the vision was there.
And the vision's there. So when you're a prospect, a young prospect who's a first round pick, and you go to a team that's expecting their prospects to help them win in the big leagues, and the whole part of their win in the big leagues plan is to bring the prospects up, you're like, I'm fucking in.
Yeah.
That's great for you.
Yeah.
And so that gives you hope, because the minor leagues, it can be a hopeless place. But like I said, man, just
it's reminding me of a Rihanna song.
Just one of the one of the best situations I could have ever been put into. And you're right, man. We're in the peak of Astros era, and hopefully we have some more runs in us.
Oh, it's so fucking glorious. I'm not sure there's a position in sports that more combines sort of the intense combination of like cerebral and physical prowess, like pitching. How do you mentally prepare for your starts?
That's a good question. It depends. It depends, because like sometimes you're just in this, like sometimes you're just in this zone, and it just like nothing can alter you. Nothing can like phase you out.
You're just
locked
locked in.
I mean, you're just like locked in. You wake up locked in. You go to the park locked in. You pitch locked in. Everything you're studying during the week, all of like the information you're retaining, it just like stays with you, and you're just rolling through these games. And then there's times where you're questioning like, what am I? Do I need to change my routine? You're counting your steps. You're trying to like figure out how much sleep you need to get. You're trying to like, it's just ebbs and flows. But like that's the beauty of the game, and like that's why the elite players in baseball can like stay on that even kind of they don't ride the wave too much. They stay pretty even keel.
Less ups and downs.
Yeah, less ups and downs. But honestly, in between a start, like the typical pitcher or me myself, if you pitch on a Monday, Tuesday would be complete recovery day. So you pitch Tuesday, your body's trying to put itself back together.
Right.
So that day I spend watching film from the previous day, trying to figure out where I went wrong, where I went right, maybe taking some notes here and there, try to grow from it. Then you got upper body or lower body on Wednesday, and then vice versa, upper body, lower body on Thursday. Then Friday would be the day before you pitch, and that's when I would study the other team. And you throw a bullpen one of those days, typically if you feel up to it. And then the day of, man, you wake up and you got to do your thing. So my thing's always been like trying to play video games the night before, trying to like disconnect.
Get some Fortnite in.
Get some Fortnite, some
Los.
Call of Duty in. Play some zombies with the boys back in Florida. And day of, just hitting my normal breakfast spots up, maybe going to watch a movie. Trying to be
Is it
chill.
different that day when you wake up though?
Yeah, you're like switched on, because as a pitcher, a starting pitcher especially,
You have the
one every 4
butterflies
days,
from like the
5
second
days.
you wake up.
No,
though?
not after your first couple starts in the big leagues. But there's always that sense of like
Now that
urgency
you're a vet,
in
yeah.
everything you do. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, 5 years in, I guess.
Do you ever find
Getting there.
yourself though with like I'll make it about me again. It was always one of my problems pitching was that like I was good physically.
Right.
Mentally, I'm a mental midget.
Okay.
All right, always have been.
I use
mean
that term a lot.
I mean that sarcastically, but like, that was the part of the game that I struggled with. So like when there were dudes that stepped in the box where I was like, well, I'm fucked, just because I knew like this dude's a better hitter than I am a pitcher. And like, so do you have those moments of self-doubt on the
No.
mound where never?
For me, like on the mound, it's like kill or be killed.
So you're better than every single man on that field when you're on the mound.
I always believe like when I take the mound, like I'm the best pitcher on the planet.
Fuck yeah, dude. Good for you.
Yeah.
What happens when a guy like Soto steps into the box, fucking around with his shuffling his feet and shit, and what is the deal with that?
I don't know. I mean,
Because here's the thing. I know what that's like as a pitcher. The game is yours. It's your mound. It's your field, and anybody who fucks with that has to pay.
yeah.
When you have a batter who's able to sort of flip it on its head, he's the first guy I've ever seen who has a routine that I would actually be like, oh, fuck, if I was pitching.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not you. Like, you buzz the tower on this dude next year if he's dancing around the fucking box on you?
I don't know, because you really gotta be careful, because if you go up there and you buzz his tower, you may be playing into his game, because he's trying to get under your skin.
Oh, God.
He's trying to take your focus away. Right.
I know.
So like if you're gonna waste a pitch up there, if you're gonna be like,
Maybe that's what he wanted.
right, maybe that's what he wanted.
Jesus
I mean, if you can like set him up for it and you can like have a waste pitch, but for me, like when that happens, like I get like more locked in. I think
You have to keep going over the top. It's like the battle of minds.
yeah,
though.
and he said, I mean, he's been quoted like it's his mental game.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he wants to see if he can like get to you.
Right.
So
Which I respect, just for the
Yeah,
record. Like,
yeah.
I don't knock Soto. Like, it's he's the most hateable player in the league for me because he's not an Astro. But if he was an Astro, I'd probably be worshiping his feet.
No, I'm
you know
like
what
right, like it definitely like from the outside looking in, like it's definitely annoying, but at the same time, like that's a bad man in that box.
Dude.
He can do it. He's nasty.
Whew.
So as long
that
as you're
guy.
gonna as long as he's gonna back it up, which he's done. I mean, the dude's 20. He's literally 21 years old. I know everyone knows. There's all the memes going around, oh, how old is this dude? How old is this dude? But
I had forgotten how old he was, Lance,
Yeah.
until you just told me.
yeah. So I mean, he turned 21 during the World Series.
Hey, Lance is 26. If anybody gives a shit.
Yeah, I'm getting old.
It's not that much
I'm
older,
out of
man.
it. No, I'm out of it
Oh,
now.
man, fuck you. I'm 32.
But you gotta lock in right there. For me, that makes that turns it up for me.
Okay.
And I'm this dude is not getting a hit off me.
Who's the best non-Astros hitter you've faced with some regularity? That you've faced enough times to where you're this is one of the guys that I have a battle with.
Yeah, one of the guys for me, Elvis Andrus has really handled me well, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because he
I
plays for
can
the
recall.
Rangers.
I can recall.
Elvis handles me well. Robinson Cano handles me pretty well. But
It's weird how it works like that, where there's certain hitters and batters where you just sort of match up differently and your strengths don't work
it's just one of those
necessarily.
things, It's maybe some guys see. I mean, I've only faced him twice, but Hunter Dozier has seemed to handle me pretty well so far. He seems to. Salvador Perez sees me well. I mean, these are things So you're always trying to combat that, and I've had some success. It kind of goes back and forth, but these are the guys you just have to recognize this dude for whatever reason sees me, and you got to lock it in. So I'm looking forward to facing them again next year.
God, I can't wait to see it. Let's talk about the Lance McCullers Jr. Foundation, which, just for those of you who are unaware, aims to invest time and resources into the promotion of pet adoptions. Y'all are raising awareness for shelters and programs and continuing the journey to a no-kill world. How did you decide this was an area that you wanted to focus some of your energy to do some good for dogs? And Kara, I know you're heavily involved in this. What I don't know if you want to come over here and share the microphone, or if that's even a thing we do. What happened there?
Yeah,
What's going on with the dogs?
Even back in my minor league days, I remember I had gone to a shelter one time. I don't know why we had gone to the shelter, but
Just for funsies.
no, it was because I wanted to speak to the program director at a shelter in Tampa and see what their funds were looking like and what they used them for, what they used donations for, because I wanted to do a fundraiser even in the minor leagues. I wanted to call my minor league buddies and be like, hey, were you willing to do $1 a strikeout, $5 a home run, all that type of stuff.
Okay,
and at the end of the year, we'll pull it together and we'll donate it to a large animal organization to try to make a little difference. And then it kind of never happened just because I couldn't get it going. But I get to the big leagues and quickly realized the issue that Houston had with overpopulation and the high euthanization rate. And I was like, this is perfect because I can use my platform in the city. I have a passion for this, so it's not going to be work, so to speak.
Sure.
It's not going to, even when I have to do things on top of playing baseball, it's a passion of mine, something I love, so I'm going to go for it.
Yes.
I'm always going to want to show up to these type of things, do this. So
Because you actually care about it. It's not bullshit.
yeah, our foundation launched in September of 2016. Right when Harvey hit, actually, a year before, almost exactly a year before Harvey hit. And that was really we kind of started, we had a little event here and there. We were doing small things. Once Harvey hit, we really started to expand on animal transports. We're
Then it got even crazier.
we're sending animals all over the country now. I mean, weekly we have partners now where Rescue Pet Movement and Pet Set in Houston, where we're taking all of the animals off the kill list in Houston, and we're shipping them out once a week, at least up to 150 to 200 animals per week. So do the math, and we're saving anywhere from 8,000 to 10,000 animals this year alone, just on our transport programs that would have died in the city of Houston. At the same time, we're promoting obviously pet adoption, fostering animals, spay and neutering your pets. That's a huge issue. That's one of the biggest issue of why there's overpopulation. Overpopulation because no one spays and neuters their pets.
Right, so you got a bunch of random pregnant dogs.
They get out, they run around,
yeah.
they breed. So we're really expanding. The knowledge is getting out there that people in Houston, there's a huge wave in the whole country right now. Animal cruelty just got voted and passed a law to be a federal crime now.
Oh, good.
So there are people, there's a lot of momentum in the animal space right now, trying to save these animals, trying to speak up for them. So it's been a really cool journey we've been on. We've saved so many animals. We have a huge second chance fund that is basically after one dog. His name was Chance. He came into the shelter, had his whole body was covered in scabs, bugs. He had been abused, hadn't been fed in weeks, and was just tied up to a tree basically.
It's
And they brought
completely
him in.
malnourished.
Yeah, so we spent probably 8 to 10 grand on Chance alone trying to rehabilitate him to life. He ended up by passing away, and it was actually pretty devastating for Kara and I. And we started this fund in his name. And so we've already helped save over 80 animals through the Second Chance Fund that would typically be like the first animals put down because they have gunshot wounds, stab wounds. They're just too far gone.
Worst
case scenario, hit by cars, etc. So we also do medical grants for shelters and rescues in the area to save these animals as well. So we've been able to just like touch and help and promote so many different things in Houston and beyond now. So it's been an awesome thing.
It's funny, I actually came in with a ton of notes for how to help you with your shit, but it sounds like you've got it pretty much well together, the foundation.
We have an awesome group of people who help us run the foundation, and we really try to do the best work we can for Houston.
Do you and Kara have dogs at the crib?
We have 3. Yeah, we have 3 dogs.
What kind of dogs y'all got?
We have a husky, we have a lab pit mix, and a German Shepherd pit mix.
Hit us with the names.
Riggs, Finn, and Minka. So Minka's the oldest. She's 6. Riggins after Tim Riggins, and Minka after Minka Kelly from Friday Night Lights.
Named a dog after 2 Friday Night Lights characters.
Yeah, 2 Friday Night Lights. So
Love
we got
that.
Minka and Riggs. Riggs is 4, and then Finley. I actually went to the shelter to pick him up on a start day last year, and like 8:30 in the morning on a start day because he was gonna get put down. We went and picked him up. We were supposed to give him to a foster. We gave him to the foster a couple days later. We were like miserable without him. Riggs was miserable without him. He was miserable at the foster's house. So we brought him back.
Oh, good. I was gonna say, did you have to like call him up like, listen, man, I'm gonna need that dog.
Yeah, we
back.
brought him back, and now he's ours now. We've had him for a year and a half. He's like 2-ish, and they're the best, man. I have him tattooed on my arm now. They're the best.
No shit.
Yeah.
Dude, a huge dog guy. Love dogs. I've got 2 of them. It's been really cool to watch your foundation continue to grow and all the good that y'all are doing there. Your wife, Kara's 8 months pregnant.
8 months.
Kara, thank you for allowing this to even take place. She's patiently sat in this room and listened to us jabber for almost an hour now. First of all, congratulations to both of you. That's incredible and awesome. How did you handle, I guess, the combination, or you're going to have to answer for both of you, but how did y'all handle the combination of Lance, you going through rehab while Kara's pregnant with y'all's first child?
So I'll give positives and negatives. So the positives is...
Kara, you just start yelling if you disagree.
The positives were and are, I've literally been to go to like every single appointment with her. So like I've been able to really be with her throughout this whole process. We've got to share it together, experience it together. Because a lot of times in sports, you're not going to the appointments. Sometimes you miss the birth. Sometimes you miss big milestones.
You're like on the other side of the country,
Yeah, so we got to hear the heartbeat together. We got to go to all these different appointments, and it is a heartbeat. We got to go to see the heartbeat together. We got to go to her, her first big appointments where we got to see her and we got to see her hands and her face and all this type of stuff. So being able to share that as first-time parents has been unbelievable. The not the negative, but on my end, rehabbing for my career with a pregnant wife is nerve-wracking.
I'm sure that was very fun.
It was nerve-wracking for me, and I didn't ever feel extra pressure from it, but I definitely definitely probably put in the most work I possibly could to have this go right, because you want to make sure you can provide.
She said you're welcome.
Yeah, provide and be there for your family.
I guess. Well, first of all, y'all were high school sweethearts.
True.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Caught Kara looking at me one day from the courtyard, and
she's rolling her eyes. But that's a very unique experience for to go. I mean, I can't imagine that it was easy. Can you speak to like going from a high school couple to the minor league grind to like the majors? And again, I feel like this Kara should be answering this question more than you. But it's like, but still, I mean, even as the man in the relationship, it's a different type of deal when you're figuring out life and your career, and at the same time marriage and your life as a husband.
Yeah. Well, I started dating Kara. I was 16. I was a sophomore in high school. She was a little older than me. She was a senior. And so our first hurdle was me being a 16, 17-year-old high school kid with my girlfriend at college. That's a interesting time. But Kara
I'll just say no comment. Yeah.
Yeah, Kara was awesome about that. She basically came home like almost every weekend, watched a lot of my games, make sure that because it sounds weird, man, but even at the age of 16, 17 years old, like I always wanted to marry Kara. Obviously, she wanted to marry me, so we had
she did one way or the other.
yeah, one I convinced her one way or the other.
Yeah.
So, we really, I think, both made sacrifices throughout our life to make sure that our relationship was first and worked. And then going to the minor leagues, and then I was gone in the minor leagues. She was still back in Florida, finishing school. That was tough because I would only see her a couple months a year, maybe, and she would visit me, or I'd be home for the off season. So, but I always kind of live by the, if you want to make something happen, you want to make something work, you're gonna make it work. You're gonna make it happen. You're gonna
couldn't agree more.
Sacrifice for the the relationship or what's important to you. So 10 years later, almost to the day we started dating, we're sitting here and we have a baby on the way. And
10.
Almost.
How y'all feeling with you're in the, I don't even want to say home stretch. You're almost there.
Yeah. How you feeling?
Karen says she's feeling good.
She's feeling good.
You look fantastic. Glowing is not even a fair word. How are you feeling?
I feel great. We're excited.
You ready
man.
to have a baby girl, man?
I'm ready. Yeah. That was the other thing, man. We found out it was a girl. It was like, it's been a crazy experience, and we are ready to meet her now. Yeah.
She said rehab babies are a real thing.
I did the 2 stereotypes. I got a tattoo on rehab, and we have a baby coming from rehab.
Dude, it worked.
Baby. That's the 2 things everyone says your rehab makes you go through is you get a tattoo and you have a baby.
Dude, it seems like that. It's good timing, though. It's like the time that you want to do it if you're going to do it. I have a couple more things very quickly. You and I both fancy ourselves to be sneakerheads.
Yeah, sure.
What's your sneaker collection looking like these days? How you rolling?
My sneaker collection is looking good. I would say it's looking good. I haven't really.
You got to put up more pics, man. I got to see more of it on Instagram.
Maybe I'll just send you like a video, but
or of your closet, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
How many pairs you working with? Take a guess.
Pairs of shoes?
Yeah. I'm at like 32.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna ask. If you have more than Kara now.
I mean, I have probably I probably got like 25 to 30 displayed, maybe more.
Okay.
And then I have probably the same amount or so on the floor.
Just in a room?
In my closet.
Oh,
what?
yeah. No, this is.
Yeah, we ran out of room.
This is a real problem for people who love shoes, man. Like I love my house.
They take a lot of space. I wear 13s. They take a lot of space.
I wear 10.5s, and I've been out of rooms since like 2014, and the shoes keep coming and showing up to the door, and I don't know where to put them. It's getting completely out of control. You need to figure out something to do with why am I telling you how to live your life? But figure out a way to get your old shoes and then auction them off for charity or something too. I've been trying to figure out what do I do with all my old sneakers that I know, like I love them. They're in incredible shape.
Yeah.
I am never going to wear them again, so it's like a waste for them to be sitting. And
for sure.
I also like looking at them.
Sometimes we have like closet purges, and we'll donate them. We'll donate all.
Or just
we'll donate stuff.
Yeah,
too.
you can do that.
I'll
sell mine. You donate yours.
There's actually a store in Houston that you donate your stuff to, and the entire shop is set up to support an animal rescue. It's like a consignment store for
okay, I'm gonna need to get the information on that.
Yeah, canines. It's Houston's Pet Alive in Houston. They do a lot of great work. They have a consignment store.
Is it
in
like
Houston?
Houston Pets Alive !
Yeah,
Oh,
it's Austin's version of Houston's Pet Alive.
Oh my God, what an idiot! Yeah, that's our thing here.
So they have a consignment store, and then you take your stuff there. They sell it, and then they obviously to keep the bills on in the store, but most of the money always goes back to helping the rescue run and continue to turn over.
Gotta love that. Are you like a StockX guy, or do you go retail, or do you have a plug?
I have some plugs.
Yeah.
I have some. I mean, I have bought shoes off of StockX. I have bought shoes. I've done the sneakers app, got them. So
that shit never works.
I've gotten a couple. I got a pair of I think they were the 1985 high top, the Nike Hawkings.
Oh, word? Through the
sneakers app.
No shit.
Yeah, it's the only pair I've ever landed.
I have never.
I'll always try. Like I try on the Scots. I've tried on the Fear of Gods.
Right.
And then if it doesn't work, I just pull out my phone and I text the plug and
see. I'm one step away,
and
man.
then they show up at my door pretty soon.
That's the next thing for me. I need a plug.
Yeah.
I'm almost there. I'm like one level of like Z-list podcast celebrity below getting a shoe plug.
Yeah.
That's my next goal in 2020. I can fucking see it on the horizon. It's gonna happen.
That's
man.
your 2020 resolution, is just to get the shoe plug.
That's literally it. You and the boys, Correa in particular, and you mentioned y'all play a lot of video games. You're big Fortnite guys.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, you still playing Fortnite much?
No, I'm basically moved on to Call of Duty now.
You fucker. I'm on there every night, man. Where you at?
You texted me the other day, and I said, no, I'll catch you on Call of Duty if you're on there, but...
oh, man, I didn't even know that. Like, I read that wrong. I said
duty, so I said I'd catch you on duty. Maybe you misinterpreted
All right, I got to
that.
pull it together. Well, I'm on there every night. We got to get some games in. But is that like... when y'all are on the road and y'all are traveling as much as you do during the season, y'all all have those individual fucking travel consoles, right?
Travel consoles, or guys have gaming laptops and stuff.
Yeah, but how do you work it with the internet in the hotels?
Sometimes the internet's good enough. Sometimes you bring your own Ethernet cord. Sometimes you use your hotspot. You basically
Y'all got it all figured out.
attach all of them, and you just run. You just run the connection. You see which one you have the best megabytes with.
Yeah,
so.
fair enough. I cannot let you leave without asking about Kanye's new album.
Yeah.
Jesus is King. I need your takes. You tweeted out when it dropped. You retweeted Kanye, I think. Yeah, your phone definitely fell out at some point. I was kind of waiting for like more Lance takes on then what you thought of the album, and you never mentioned it again.
Yeah, I did tweet at someone about the album. Let me try to find it.
It was a mention or an at?
It was a reply? Yeah, it was a reply.
Okay.
Gosh, I have a lot of replies.
Well, I'll talk about what I've said about it so far while you
go
look for
ahead.
that.
Go ahead.
Look, like I'm a Christian, a God-fearing man who is also an enormous Kanye West fan.
So am I.
Huge fan his whole career, right? Which puts us in the same boat, I think, which is why I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Because lyrically, not great. Just like, even if the lyrics are like pure and well-meaning and I enjoy them because of my own personal belief system and shit, does it write off their simplicity in some cases? Like, a lot of the album felt very quickly rushed, put together, which is becoming a pattern with Kanye albums. Life of
Or
Pablo,
albums in general, I think.
sure, but with Kanye, it was like, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was the most complete version of a vision of any type of musical project I've ever enjoyed. And from there, shit started to get weird. Like, Life of Pablo was a little more choppy.
Yeah.
And then now we're at Jesus is King, where I'm almost positive he made all of those beats, did other songs on them, then decided he wanted to go the full Christian route and changed all of the lyrics in like the last 48 hours or something.
Well, he did the song Use This Gospel with Kenny G back on whatever Kim's birthday was when Kenny G was there.
Oh, shit, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, okay.
So at least that we know for sure is one song that wasn't recorded last minute.
Right.
But I mean he was gonna do he was gonna do Yandi last September, like
Right.
26th or something.
Yeah.
Delayed it till November. And then November hit and he was like, nah, I'm not doing it. I'm not feeling the music. Obviously now that can be interpreted as he didn't like what he was speaking in the music.
Yeah, he had
I
a
think.
complete change of heart on the message and the impact that his music was having on the world, it seems.
Right. But so then he went to Africa and lived in Africa for a while. Remember?
No, I thought that was Dave Chappelle.
No, maybe he did. I don't know. He went to Africa, lived there for a while. That's
Okay.
where the outside, I believe I'm telling the story correct. That's where like the outside, like Sunday service type thing started to happen.
Started
That was like the start
right.
of it, because like he was playing beats and he was doing like music outside for people, and he like loved the energy.
Okay, got it.
And so when he came back, he started doing like, he was obviously he was in this like journey, he was on his journey, and that turned into Sunday services. And then, I do believe there were some songs on that album that he had done from maybe Yandi, or he had
people keep
previously
trying to send
recorded.
me
For
Salah.
example, like there was one Nicki Minaj said she did that was previously recorded like a year ago, which would have been around the time Yandi was supposed to drop.
Right.
And then he wanted to turn it into a gospel, and she didn't want him to do it. So then that
Right.
song was nixed from the album.
Right.
Totally. So like, does Nicki still get her fee?
That's a really
You
good
have to-
question. I almost guarantee
She has
yes.
to. Yeah. But anyway,
She just doesn't get any residuals.
so
for the songs that
so
are
someone tweeted at me and said, I need to know what you think about the album. And then I said I typically give it a couple of listens over like 3 to 5 days or so before deciding. I have some songs I really like so far, because if you remember, and no one's going to admit this, when Astroworld I'm sorry, when Astroworld first dropped, it was getting not great reviews online right away.
Travis Scott?
It's on Travis Scott.
Yeah. It wasn't getting like heavy praise. It was
Right.
like, okay.
It was kind of like, and then like all of a sudden a week later, 2 weeks later, it was the greatest album on earth. And
Right.
I like Astroworld. I like almost every single song on the whole album.
Yeah, I've seen you talk about it a bit.
And I also love Birds in the Trap the
Yeah.
most. Like that's my favorite album he's done.
I like Birds in the Trap more than Astroworld. just for the
Yeah,
record.
I mean, I think wifey and I both agree, and we listened to like the whole album on the way here. But anyway, so I like to give it like some time to like resonate, you know, and like sit with me and like listen to it a couple times.
Same way.
But I am also I'm a Catholic. I'm a Christian, and so is my wife. And so I said, and she says, "What do you think it could have been any better?" After I responded to that, I said, "Honestly, it's not for me to say." I said, "Albums are a body of work that the artist feels represents them at that point in time. I'm feeling a lot of these songs." I said, "Would have liked some type of typical Ye, but that's not in his headspace right now. Obviously, this music clearly is a reflection of his journey or his growth." I said, "It's more of a gospel type music, which is cool with me." I said, "It's a very different style for him, but based on his Sunday services, etc., feels about right and what we should have expected." I said, "He still goes in on some of the songs." I said, "Some of the beats are still slap, just not your typical rap album or I said people always have change or differences at arm's length."
Sure.
So that was my take right off the bat.
Right.
So on my playlist
Now,
of 300 some odd songs, I need to clear this out. These are the songs I have on my playlist. Close on Sunday. I feel like the back half of that song is like actually one of the still like some of the old You still get some of them.
yeah, if you could remove the first like 45 seconds of bullshit, you'd
Okay.
be good.
Sure.
I'm not trying to do Chick-fil-A memes in my Ye songs.
Yeah. But then you got, I mean, there was some meaning behind that though. The song.
Yeah, I get it.
Obviously him having someone I think that he truly loves in his life, Kim. I don't know him at all, by the way. I'm speaking like I know him.
I know, I do this all the time.
But
Like on a weekly basis.
if you like, I think he really does love Kim, and he obviously loves his kids. So like when you're in that type of headspace at like the age of 40, it's probably different than when you're at like the age of like 28, 30 when he was
better-
pumping out all these
it better
other,
be.
other songs. It better be.
Yeah.
You should have evolved as a human. So then I love Use This Gospel. Every time I listen to it, I still get chills.
Yeah.
If I was pitching right now, that'd be my walkout song.
No shit.
Wait,
Wait, which song?
Use This Gospel.
Okay.
Follow God is on here. On God is on here. And then
See, they're all working their way into the playlist.
Salah.
Yeah.
Salah. I like
That-
Salah.
I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but that's the way I pronounce it.
I like
and
Salah.
that's the one people keep sending me. They're like, this is the version of Salah from before we changed it to be Christian. And I'm like, I don't want to hear it, damn it.
Right.
That's not how it works. I listen to the music, like, and don't take offense to this if you do
No.
do the thing where you listen to Yanni and shit, but like, I don't fuck with that, man. I listen to what the artist sends me and that's it.
Yeah,
want
and I
the
don't
version-
like listening to leaks.
Right, I don't like that.
Like apparently a Boogie just leaked. His whole album
Yeah, I'm
just
not
leaked
gonna
out,
touch
and
that.
then I was at the barber and he was playing it. And I was like, "Nah, bro, I don't like listening to leaks." And he started playing. I was like, just probably keep it on. It's not bad. I'll probably listen to it because I love.
I thought it was
love
going to
a
end with you
Boogie.
firing your bar.
No, absolutely not. No, he cussed me too good.
Oh,
So, but seriously though, like I feel like criticism like of someone's body of work and like where they're at like in their life, I think
Yeah.
it's a little bit unfair.
Isn't it?
I mean, you don't have to like it. That's fine. It's still the number one album in the world.
Dude,
It's still gonna go platinum.
it went. I was very frustrated the first listen through, and then every day since it's grown on me, and then I keep finding myself putting the goddamn songs on, no pun intended, and it is. I don't even know how to explain. It's like I knew this was gonna happen too, man.
Right.
Like just like follow God, I'm jamming that shit every day,
Every day.
4 or 5
Yeah.
times, and I just spoke to the lyrical simplicity of the album. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's enjoyable music.
Yeah,
and it vibes
exactly.
with everything I believe. So,
Yeah. It's Kanye.
I mean,
Yeah.
it is. It's like
And I'm a Kanye guy. I'm a Kanye. He
So am
does
I.
his own thing. I love him for it, and I like supporting his music. I think it's still good. I like it. I
also
still
like-
enjoy it.
I think it's good too, but I like the journey too. The journey for him. Like I like watching a man who I respect as an artist work his way through life.
Yeah.
Like
he
he's
said,
just-
like it's like everyone wants Yandi, but then Jesus did the laundry.
Yep.
That's like a big line. It's like he was somewhere. Obviously he's far removed from putting his wife's butt on the cover of his album. which was just a couple years ago.
I wouldn't mind if that
I still
came back.
rock those songs though. I still rock the Life of Pablo songs.
Oh, hell
but
yeah.
You could see this coming, like in his music with Cudi and in the
Absolutely.
latest album he released and everything he's been doing. I think this is what we should have expected,
Dude,
and I think it's good.
That the progression that you just spoke to is a point that has not been made enough. If you go back and listen to Kanye album by Kanye album, when you get to Jesus is King, it's not shocking. If you
Yeah.
went album by album, like,
Yeah.
he talks about God in all of his work.
All
he
of it.
always has. And
Like
that-
Jesus Walks was way back, and now he went on to he went on some late night show and said that he's going to perform that song still, but he's going to change the words from "We're trying to turn atheists into believers."
oh,
So
shit,
he's
okay.
gonna. So I'm gonna go see his concert if it rolls through Houston.
I'll see it
and
too.
I'm here.
I'll see it too.
I'm definitely gonna go see it.
I'm,
Hopefully, he doesn't talk in 30 minutes of the hour, but
He will. I'm
He
glad
did
we
it
had the
last
same
time.
take though. On the what? You saw a concert
we
where
went
he
to
didn't
a
talk?
concert and he went in the entire time. It was when he was doing the floating stage. Back and
Oh
forth,
yeah.
And he went in the entire time.
Okay, so last version I saw Watch the Throne live. I saw My Beautiful with Art Twisted Fantasy live. I saw Yeezus live. Yeezus was the best. Did
Yeah.
you get to see Yeezus?
I mean,
Like
He
live? Did you get to see the live Yeezus concert with the fucking mountains and shit?
no.
Oh,
no,
you're gonna
no.
regret it for the rest of your life,
No.
dude. I'm gonna have
Well,
to find you a video of this shit.
I'll try to find it.
It was-
but
A Jesus shows up at one point to speak to the fact that we should have seen this coming.
yeah.
Like a white dude in a Jesus costume comes out on stage for like 20 minutes of the show,
Yeah.
and you're just
Did
like,
you watch the video yet he dropped with his
no,
dad?
I heard you watching it when you were walking in. I haven't
Yeah.
got to watch it yet. I need to go watch it
Yeah,
right
go-
now.
go check it out.
Which y'all need to go to. So Lance, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us
course,
today. He's at L McCullers43 on Twitter, at Lance McCullers43 on Instagram, twitch.tv/Lance McCullers43. What's the URL for y'all's foundation for the charity?
It's
For-
LanceMcCullersFoundation.org.
Oh, that's easy enough. Yeah, LanceMcCullersFoundation.org.
There it is.
If you're trying to help out there.
Yeah. If you go
Um,
if you go on any of my socials, it's not going to
It's
be hard
everywhere.
to find it. Yeah,
Yeah,
not
it's
gonna
good
be
to
hard
see.
find it.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. No, dude, I appreciate anything else you wanted to add in before you roll.
No, man, I'm good.
Y'all enjoy the
Looking
time
forward
in
to,
Dripping Springs.
Looking forward to 2020.
So am I,
Yeah.
frankly. This year has been weird. I'm ready for 2020. Let's go get it together, man. Let's fucking go. Lance
go.
McCullers Jr., everybody. RBP 239 is also brought to you by Manscaped, a fantastic company who is finally providing men with the tools we need to properly maintain our downstairs mix-ups. Are you using a terrible and incorrect tool with which to trim or groom your pubic region, you buffoon? Don't feel bad. This is a common issue for men. Most guys just straight up do not know what product to use to clean themselves up. In the past, my whole deal was I would use my old electric facial hair razor as my body hair tool. That is not how that works. That is not what it's for. You get nicks and cuts and snags. Your whole life gets ruined. Then Manscaped comes into your life and saves you, where there's absolutely no fear in hurting your nuts with a nick or a cut or a snag ever again, thanks to their incredible razor called the Lawnmower 2.0, their electric razor. It is phenomenal. Their whole product line was created specifically for a man's distinctive grooming needs below the waist, featuring specially formulated products to cleanse, moisturize, and deodorize your smelly balls. Manscaped also offers tools engineered to give every gentleman a close, refined appearance, empowering men by providing the right tools for the right job. Their complete manscaping system includes the Lawnmower 2.0, a rechargeable waterproof trimmer with skin-safe technology for a nick-free trim. To learn more about Manscaped's revolutionary products, just go to manscaped.com. That's MANSCAPED. Manscaped.com. Use the code RBP when you check out. You'll get 20% off your entire order. Manscaped.com. Promo code RBP. 20% off your order. Your balls will thank you. Bumblebee Tuna. RBP 239 is also brought to you by Felix Gray. You may not realize this, but the average American blasts their eyes with bright screens for 11 hours every day. And when you consider just how much our days revolve around devices, our phones, our computers, our TV screens, that actually doesn't seem so crazy, right? Like, I'm legitimately staring at my phone or my TV screen or my computer every waking hour of my life at this point. And the fact is, we can't eliminate extensive screen time from our lives, but we can protect our eyes with a pair of Felix Gray blue light filtering glasses available in both non-prescription and prescription. The majority of Americans live with tired, dry eyes, blurry vision, or headaches caused by screens. If this sounds familiar for you, like I know it does for me, Felix Gray glasses are for you. Felix Gray is also, by the way, our first sponsor on twitch.com/bossrollin. They have been a phenomenal partner and supporter of RBP and everything that we're doing here at Bolen Media. And it just so happens that it worked out perfectly because when I'm gaming at the end of the day at night, staring at my computer screen after staring at a bunch of other screens the rest of the day, my fucking head hurts and my eyes start to burn and I can't see shit, and the next thing you know, I'm getting pwned left and right by 16-year-olds. That's not cool. So I throw on my Felix Grays. I'm a new man. I am not kidding. Within seconds of putting them on at the end of the day, it is like total and complete relief. I'm a guy that wears contact lenses. My eyes get fucking tired. I'm staring at screens. These things are legit. They're the real deal. They filter out 90% of high-energy blue light, eliminate 99% of glare coming from your daily barrage of screens. So like when I'm gaming from a foot away from my gigantic computer screen with my Felix Grays on, no glare. I'm not shitting you. It's crazy. It is a totally different type of deal than your normal shitty glasses. Felix Gray uses proprietary blue light technology embedded into the lens as opposed to the cheap coating that a lot of these companies throw on their shit that easily chips or scratches over time. Felix Gray is on a mission to make fashionable, high-quality blue light protection widely accessible by offering a variety of frames for all face shapes and style preferences. I have the Faraday frames in black. I wear them all of the time. They are phenomenal. They look sharp. They're sleek and effective. Felix Gray frames are handcrafted from the same high-quality materials used in high-end designer frames like organic Italian acetate, German-engineered steel. They're available in non-prescription, prescription, and readers, as well as kids and adult sizes. Felix Gray is badass. I love them. They are, again, huge supporter, great first sponsor on Twitch. Listen up. Fantastic for gaming, for movie and TV lovers, everyone who works on computers and on their phones all day. Don't go another day looking at screens without the help of some Felix Grays. Go to felixgrayglasses.com/RBP for free shipping and 30 days of risk-free returns or exchanges. That's felixgrayglasses.com/RBP. FELIXGRAY glasses.com/RBP. Before you head out to take on the world, first of all, phenomenal. What an episode. What an interview. And again, huge thanks to Lance and his wife Kara for taking the time to come into the studio with us on the way out to the wedding that they were making. That was a fun one. That was one of the cooler episodes I've gotten to do, one of the more fun conversations I've had probably in my life. So it meant a lot. Lance, thank you. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for doing the show. It took us long enough, but we did get it done. Shouts, by the way, to all the Astros fans and the longtime RBP listeners who have known that I've been trying to line up LMJ to come in here for a really long time, that have been excited about it. There were at least a couple female fans who literally might have shit their pants when I said that Lance was going to be in the studio today. Shouts to y'all. You know who you are. And that was a fun one. I fucking enjoyed it. I hope y'all did too. Hit me with feedback on Twitter, on Instagram, on Snapchat, wherever you want. Holler at me. Tell me how you thought today's episode went, how you thought all 3 of the episodes this week went. We actually ended up doing this 3rd episode. I won't say it was pro bono, but we pulled some strings. We made some things work, and this one is on me for y'all to say thank you for all of the support throughout 2019, getting Bolen Media up off the ground, everybody on Patreon. Again, patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast for more RBP in November, 2 exclusive ad-free episodes of this show, plus video of this very episode that you just listened to in full. That's the only place you're going to be able to see it. Patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast, full video of Lance and I's entire conversation. We've got guest Mike Burns coming later. I think next week is when we're going to be able to make it work. Again, merchandise, RBP t-shirts, hats, stickers, that stuff's coming very, very soon. And there's only going to be one place you're going to be able to buy that stuff as well, at least up front. The first batch, it goes to y'all, the RBP gang on Patreon. All right, and the OGs, obviously, it goes without saying. But first batch of merch, if you were like, I can't wait to get an RBP t-shirt or hat or sticker for this Christmas, you're not gonna, unless you're on patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast or one of your friends or family members are. Keep that in mind, too. Gives you access to a whole bevy of gifts you could buy for people that nobody else would be able to buy. You'll be the best gift giver on the block. How about that? Mike's laughing at me. Legal obligations. You have 2 of them. Having listened to this entire episode, you've been saddled with 2 legal obligations you may not have realized. Your first one, you must rate and review. You can listen on Spotify. You can listen on SoundCloud. That's awesome. I prefer if you would rate and review on Apple Podcasts. That is still the biggest podcast platform. It's the one that does the most damage for us. Give us 5 stars. Write 2 or 3 sentences about why you like the show. And that's it. You can check your first box. Your second legal obligation is to share this show with one person, one friend, one family member. Maybe it's a coworker, a neighbor, any one individual you can think of that you believe would enjoy RBP and like what we've got going on here and be entertained by this podcast. Share it with them. Send them your favorite link to your favorite episode on Spotify. Maybe you tag them in one of our Instagram posts, whatever the method, I don't care. Share the show with one person this week, one person next week, one person every week until the week you die. Follow the show on Instagram at the Ross Bolen Podcast, on Twitter at Ross Bolen Pod. We're on Facebook. If you're the middle-aged aunt of one of our listeners, you can follow me, Ross Bolen, on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at WRBOLEN, at WRBolen on all of those. Listen to Bolen Media's television and film podcast, Oysters, Clams, and Cockles. This week we discussed episode 3 of Watchmen, the Apple TV Plus lineup, Dolomite Is My Name on Netflix, as well as The King from Netflix, and Bone Tomahawk I finally watched randomly, so we talked about that as well, and holy shit. And that'll do it for RBP 239, recorded and produced by Mike Moody and Grant Davis at Permanent Record Studios in Austin, Texas. We will be back on Monday for episode 240, RBP 240, coming Monday. Podman gets paid, strength and honor, gang, gang, gang. Peace be with you, and also with you.
Ross Bolen.